This is CBS News Bay Area with Juliette Goodrich.
And good evening. We're kicking off the long Labor Day weekend, and it's already busy out there. We're going to have more on all the travel conditions. Also, Paul Hagan will join us later with a new immersive 3D holiday forecast. It's a brand new way of bringing you the weather in your neighborhood. You'll only see it here on CBS News Bay Area. But first, let's get to our top story. A controversial bill to legalize magic mushrooms and other psychedelics passed a major hurdle in Sacramento today. You know, there's been a lot of talk about this proposal lately because of the potential benefits it could have. Studies have shown certain psychedelics can help with depression, PTSD, anxiety, even substance abuse. But opponents worry making these drugs widely available could have devastating consequences if they fall into the wrong hands. Our Lauren Toms has the story of one mother who lived through it all and is now at the forefront in the fight against this bill.
Fearless enthusiasm. That was my boy.
As Lisa Hudson walks around her home, her son Shane is celebrated.
Shane is an amazing, sparkly soul. He had a thousand friends. He was everybody's best friend.
Today, she's speaking out against legislation that could decriminalize certain hallucinogenics, including mushrooms, the drug her son took that led to his fatal accident in early 2020.
His eyes were big as saucers, and I could tell that he was on some sort of mind-altering hallucinogenic. Now I have him in my arms, and he says, I'm talking to God, and it's all about love, and love is life, and life is love, and I know it's all so easy, it's right in front of me. And Shane all of a sudden stands upright and runs down our stairs and runs out on the deck. And as I run after him down the stairs, as I hit the bottom of our stairs, I see him running off of our deck with his arms straight out saying, I've got this, I've got this. And he plunged 40 feet into our backyard and passed away in my husband's arms while I was calling 911.
Lisa's part of a group of moms who've rallied against SB 58. Authored by Senator Scott Wiener, the bill would make it lawful to possess certain psychedelics and mandate further research. Wiener argues that decriminalization often leads to smarter usage.
We know that the war on drugs has been a complete failure, and criminalizing drug use and possession accomplishes absolutely nothing.
Studies have shown that controlled use of psychedelics can help treat depression, anxiety, and other mental health disorders. But new research by a group of doctors at Stanford shows hallucinogenic-related hospitalizations spiked 74% between 2016 and 2021. Adverse effects can include psychological trauma, erratic behavior, accidental injuries, and even death. Just what Lisa is most afraid of.
My biggest concerns is that we're going to get a lot more stories about kids like Shane.
She says she's happy to see the drugs decriminalized, but safeguards like public education and first responder training need to come first.
Something needs to happen to make sure that our community, our kids, are safe. As safe as they possibly can be.
And that others will look to her son as a source of light and learning as time goes on.
And we want to thank Lisa for sharing her personal story. Tonight, we are also hearing from a woman who says psychedelics saved her life.
I was addicted to opioids. I dabbled in heroin and fentanyl and methamphetamine and spent most of my life addicted to drugs. And I was prescribed a life sentence of drug dependence. The doctors that I had told me I would have to take psychiatric drugs for the rest of my life. And I was able to get off all of the drugs that I was addicted to, but they left me completely debilitated. I lost my ability to talk, walk, function. I lost my vision for over a year. And psychedelic medicine completely brought me back to life and put me on a pathway to healing and helped me transform out of addiction into a space of liberation and joy.
Danielle is the executive director of the San Francisco Psychedelic Society. Their goal is to educate people how to use psychedelics safely. She is for the bill, which is just now one more round of votes away before going to Governor Newsom's desk. Well, it is one of the most active locations in the city when it comes to open-air drug use and drug dealing. We're talking about 7th and Mission. It is also the site of the San Francisco Federal Building. So we noticed a chain-link fence going up around the building just 2 weeks after workers were told to work remotely and avoid the building because of the conditions that surround it. So we reached out to the feds but have not heard back. It's unclear what their goal is with the fencing and what the next steps are.
These people ain't trying to bother nobody. Where are they gonna go? I mean, like, if you stop them moving here, they're gonna move somewhere else, and it's gonna cause their problems somewhere else.
Today, San Francisco bragged about its efforts to get drugs and drug dealers off the streets. The city says in the last 3 months alone, police seized 123 pounds of fentanyl and arrested over 300 drug dealers. 2 mechanics are recovering in the South Bay tonight after an electric bus caught on fire at a VTA maintenance yard. This was at the depot on Zanker Road. VTA says the mechanics weren't able to put the flames out themselves, so they had to push the bus out of the maintenance building until firefighters arrived. They ended up suffering smoke inhalation and were taken to the hospital. VTA says all 10 of its electric buses are now out of service while they investigate this fire. Oakland could lose critical funding from the state if the city fails to improve its slow 911 response times. State officials say Oakland is required to respond to 911 calls within 15 seconds, 90% of the time, but only does so 46% of the time. State officials are now giving the city a year to speed up its response times. Now, we reached out to the city of Oakland, and they responded saying the biggest issue affecting the 911 answer times is the lack of staff. The city says they are actively trying to recruit to fill those gaps. All right, the holiday travel rush, it's underway, and so is a major closure on Interstate 80 we want to tell you about. All westbound lanes are closed from Vallejo to Hercules, and that includes the Carquinez Bridge. All westbound lanes are closed from I-780 in Vallejo to State Route 4 in Hercules. That includes the Carquinez Bridge. Now, Caltrans is paving miles of concrete and making repairs, and we did get a look at some of the work today. Westbound Interstate 80 is scheduled to reopen at 5 a.m. on Tuesday. So to get around, drivers can take 780 to the Benicia Bridge, then take Highway 4 to get you back onto 80. All right, let's take you outside now to see our bridges and how weekend getaway, as you can take a look there. Well, actually, we're looking at all of the clear skies so far. Haven't seen the bridges yet, but take a look at the clear view for our 3-day getaway. Not too bad. San Mateo Bridge, we'll get to that in a little bit, but we're going to move to some video now. Travelers finding heavy traffic on more than just roads. Here you go. Oakland International Airport projected today's travel to be almost 90% of pre-pandemic levels. The airport projects 210,000 travelers to pass through this weekend. Some people in the East Bay are thrilled to see it, especially because it's Oakland.
People who would prefer to come to Oakland and leave instead of crossing the bay and going into San Francisco or going down to San Jose, it's exciting to see that, you know, there's enough economic stability in Oakland for people to do this on holidays and go out and travel and things like that. So I think it says a lot.
And it's a similar scene at SFO and San Jose Mineta. These lowriders are part of San Jose culture and history. And after decades of being banned, hundreds of them were lined up and down the streets around City Hall for the first ever Lowrider Day sanctioned by the city. This after City Council lifted the ban last year. Many were pleased to see the city actually celebrating lowrider culture with this event. An update now on the futuristic city that tech billionaires want to build near Travis Air Force Base in Solano County. We now have the very first renderings of what that city could potentially look like. So these are the drawings. They show Mediterranean-style homes with wind farms in the background and narrow streets and cafes and farm stands. Looks nice. The group is now calling themselves California Forever. But the group's acquisition of 55,000 acres in southeast Solano County has come under fire from politicians and farmers. Just last week, California lawmakers proposing some restrictions to try and protect that land. Longtime Bay Area football rivals and Pac-12 contenders Cal and Stanford are now leaving that conference, and they're joining the ACC. So starting next season, the Bay Area football teams will weirdly play in the Atlantic Coast Conference with teams like Florida State and South Carolina's Clemson. It all has to do with media rights revenues, and it's left the Pacific 12 Pac-12 Conference totally dismembered. Now only Washington State and Oregon State remain. Well, the 49ers, they're getting back a key member of their offense just in time for the regular season, and our Matt Lively explains on today's Red and Gold Report.
This is the Volkswagen Red and Gold Report.
We have turned the page from August to September, which means we're just over a week away from the 49ers' regular season opener next Sunday. And San Francisco is getting back a key contributor in the backfield at just the right time. Running back Elijah Mitchell says he's ready to go for week 1 at Pittsburgh after sitting out the preseason due to an injury. Christian McCaffrey is the clear-cut starter, but Mitchell says he's soaking up all the knowledge he can from the all-pro running back.
Since my rookie year, even before that, I watched Christian play, and I was like, man, he's so elusive. It's crazy. The way he just route people up is unbelievable for a back like that. I'm always asking him questions, so I know he probably get tired of me a little bit. No, I'm just joking, but nah, he's an animal.
For the Red and Gold Report, I'm Matt Lively.
It is a very special night for us at CBS News Bay Area. In just about 40 minutes, we are launching our new 8 and 9 p.m. newscast on PIX Plus, featuring weather like you've never seen it before. The new primetime lineup features some familiar faces on the news, and leading into it, our Mary Lee joining us live from the Aloha Fun Center in San Jose with a closer look. Hi, Mary.
Hey, Jules, we are so excited about tonight, and we are having so much fun at the Aloha Fun Center in San Jose near the East Ridge Mall. Now, we are here for the big event. We have the Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon skate party. It's a free event, so definitely come on down and check it out. We're here until midnight tonight. And the Big Bang Theory and Young Sheldon will air back-to-back starting Monday on the new PIX Plus. And also, as Jules mentioned, on the new PIX Plus, we have the CBS News Primetime Edition 8 and 9 p.m. newscasts, which launch tonight. We are so excited about it. The only 8 and 9 p.m. newscast in the Bay Area. Check it out.
This is PIX Plus. More of what you want, more often. More local news in the morning and the Primetime Edition. The only 8 and 9 p.m. news. With Devin Feely, Elizabeth Cook, Juliette Goodrich, and Sarah Donchi. Groundbreaking original storytelling from the KPIX newsroom. Plus Bear Politics, Project Earth, and weather like you've never seen. The Primetime Edition, coming Friday to the new PIX Plus. 44 Cable 12.
And debuting on our 8 and 9 p.m. newscast, we have our virtual weathercast. And I've had a chance this week to train and to get a sneak peek with Paul, our chief meteorologist. And Paul, this is so cool and so exciting because we are the first in the nation to do these virtual weathercasts.
Yeah, we took a look behind the scenes a little bit earlier during a 5 o'clock newscast. A lot of us have that posted on our social media profiles. I'm standing in the midst of our new virtual reality environment, so we can give you the best views across the Bay Area. And of course, we're on our very hyper-realistic map that covers the floor here, and we can bring in all sorts of temperature data, including the current temperatures. So since we're kicking this off, let's start off the month of September with a very un-September weather pattern. Current readings are in the 60s in most locations. We can navigate down to the South Bay and we find some of our warmest readings there. 72 degrees still in Los Gatos, it's 71 degrees in Morgan Hill, but those are the warmest spots on the map at the moment. Everybody else has pretty much dropped down into the 60s across the entire Bay Area. Now, that's not a surprise around the Bay itself, just barely below 70 degrees right now in Redwood City. But even inland in the East Bay, we're talking about the warmest spot in Antioch, around 70. Compare this to last Labor Day when we had those inland temperatures up to around 115 degrees. Now we can make our way back up to the North Bay where temperatures are also in the 60s. It is comfortable out there this evening. We had a little bit of mist and drizzle to go along with that onshore breeze early today. We're going to stay in this similar weather pattern as we head through the next couple of days. There's the potential for a little bit of moisture, but the bulk of that is going to stay farther up to our north. So we'll drop the map out. We'll take a look at kind of the view that you're used to seeing for our weather maps. And the satellite and radar in our monitor here, we have a lot of thunderstorm activity in Northern California that has been avoiding the Bay Area. It's closer to the center of the storm system that brought in the much cooler air mass. We still have the potential for a couple of showers around the Bay Area as we head through the next couple of days. So let's take a look at Futurecast and we'll zoom in for a closer look. And you're going to notice some radar freckles every once in a while, some little patches of green indicating that chance for a shower or two here and there. They are going to be more mist than hit, but there's a chance, not only tomorrow, but also on Sunday. The best chance looks like it's going to be for the North Bay. Now that drizzle is going to accumulate mainly along the coast and any of the higher elevations of the coastal ranges. But the rest of the Bay Area, I can't completely rule out one of those splash and dash showers. I certainly wouldn't cancel any outdoor plans based on a 20 to 30% rain chance in any particular spot. but there's a chance, and that enough by itself in the month of September is remarkable. The onshore breeze really helped to improve our air quality today. We were in the green category across the board. That's going to remain the case again on Saturday, and then enough of that smoke from far northern California drifting down into the upper levels of the atmosphere, and just enough settling down towards ground level to send us back into that moderate category for most of the North Bay and maybe around the Central Bay as well. But again, the bulk of that moisture has been avoiding us. We get to stay in this cool weather pattern. So let's drop our monitor out and we'll take a look at high temperatures across the Bay Area tomorrow. A new way to navigate the various microclimates of the Bay Area. We'll zoom up to the North Bay first, where temperatures tomorrow are going to be, well, very similar to what we had today, mostly in the middle portion of the 70s, maybe a couple of degrees warmer. But keep in mind, average highs are a good 5 to 10 degrees above those values. Now, the spots where you actually are going to have close to normal temperatures along the coast and right around the bay. 70 is the normal high for San Francisco on September 2nd. That's where we're going to top out tomorrow. Mid-60s for Half Moon Bay. The South Bay, like other inland parts of the Bay Area, substantially below normal. Maybe a couple degrees warmer than today, mid to upper 70s for the Santa Clara Valley. Inland in the East Bay, these are usually the hot spots. Again, last Labor Day, up to close to 115 degrees. Instead, the warmest spots on Saturday only approaching 80 degrees. And we'll keep similar temperatures in the forecast once again as we head into Sunday, and then some changes start to kick in. So let's bring in our 7-day forecast. This is also a new element, a new way of displaying this kind of information. It's going to be especially fun in the rainy season when we start to see the raindrops accumulating in our little glass tubes here. For now, we can focus on the temperatures, which are going to warm up as we hit the holiday on Monday, but we're not talking about any extreme heat. The hottest spots inland only up to around 90 degrees or so as we head through that first full week of September. Certainly could be a whole lot worse. And of course, temperatures around the bay will not be nearly as extreme. We're talking about high temperatures in the 70s for Oakland and the East Bay. Down the peninsula, your high temperatures mostly in the 70s as well. And closer to the coast, while you are going to see gray skies the next couple of days, we are eventually going to break through to more sunshine. It's going to take a little while, though. Should happen as we hit about the middle portion of next week. A bit more sun peeking through those low clouds. Sun temper along the coast is eventually going to take hold, but hardly any change to those temperatures right along the coast, just kind of hovering in the middle portion of the 60s. More of a turbulent up and down forecast for those inland parts of the Bay Area. So again, this is our new virtual environment. You're going to see this every night at 8 and 9 o'clock on PIX Plus, and eventually we're going to work these elements into our forecasts on KPIX as well. And we're just getting started with this. We're going to eventually bring in some 3D forecast model data to really visualize what's happening in the atmosphere above our heads and hopefully explain things more clearly, how our weather can be so turbulent at different times of the year. Juliet?
A Northern California scuba diver has gained a reputation for finding valuable items people have lost while boating, swimming, and engaging in other water sports. So he's calling himself Merman Mike. That's fitting. And now he takes thousands of YouTube followers on his dive missions. And just recently, he found a woman's wedding ring near Yosemite.
And then I just absolutely blew up with excitement. It's always the moment I'm looking for the most, especially if there's doubts.
That's pretty special. Merman Mike says he's happy to help people find their lost items, so he doesn't even charge them. Pretty nice of Merman. Thanks so much for watching.